Hi everybody, all my followers, be welcome to another video. So the video today is on this 2010 Volkswagen Golf GTI, the 2-liter. I believe all the GTIs, they came with the 2-liter engines, petrol obviously. And this car, actually, if you follow the channel, you've seen this car in a couple of videos, or maybe more than a couple, actually about 3 videos I think. And this car belongs to a friend of mine at work, and I know he's just left night shifts, so I'm not going to ring him now because I would really do with a little bit more detailed info on this issue, especially because of what happened this morning. Because the issue I've seen this morning, I had a very similar issue with the black Seat that was parked here for a long time. That car is not sorted yet, because there's issues with the parts that were supplied to the owner of the car. The car is now parked over there on the other side of the Corsa. But this morning when I moved this car, it was parked actually where the Corsa is. And when I moved it, I've seen something that, as I said, was very similar to the issue with the Seat. And the issue was not what at the moment the owner believes that this car has. Now, let me explain so we clear things up, because it's probably getting a little bit confusing. So apparently, according to the owner, this car has a battery drain. He reckons within a few days he can't start the car anymore, and needs to jump start the car, etc, etc. Now, what I've seen this morning was a little bit odd, and it didn't, if right at the start it seemed like a battery drain, straight after he didn't. So first of all, the car was parked yesterday 1 o'clock maybe. The guy dropped in there, he parked in there, they gave me the key, that was it. I started the car this morning. Now it's 10 o'clock in the morning, and what happened was, when I unlocked the car unlocked absolutely perfect, no issues at all. I haven't seen nothing wrong. The lights came on, everything came on, the car opened. It didn't sound like it didn't have battery, if that makes sense. And then the car, I only had the car running for a couple minutes, so I'm hoping it's going to still do something similar. But if it doesn't, I will explain you before we actually attempt to demonstrate the problem. If it does it again, obviously. So basically what I did was, I got here, got the ignition on, ignition came back on, no problems. And then when I turned the key, the cluster just disappeared completely, and I could hear the starter motor kind of go, just like I heard that click. You know, when you really have no battery, you just hear that click. I hear that click, but I heard the starter motor kind of try to rotate, and then I turn it off, try the second time, same thing. Then I thought, nah, this is not a low battery, so I turned the key to start the car, and I left the key in there. And what happened was, the starter motor just went like, and it stopped. And then it went again, and then it stopped. And then on the third time, it just went full revolutions, and the engine started. And that to me sounds more like a bad starter motor than actually a battery drain. And I think what's happening is the owner is just getting to the car, does that, hears that click, and doesn't insist. But I don't think this is a bad battery, because if it was a bad battery, most likely would be bad from the first click. It wouldn't recover on the second or third attempt, if that makes sense. So I'm going to see if I can demonstrate that, if it does the same. I really hope it does. And I'm going to be quiet now, so you can try to hear the engine. And I might excuse me, and I might actually increase the volume at this point to make sure you can hear it. So we're going to do it. We're going to be quiet, and we're going to attempt, and I'm going to show you. Have you seen it? So the first time, let me turn it off again. So have you seen the first time, literally just went, it looks like he gave one revolution until the compression cycle, and then he stopped there, and then everything nearly disappeared from the cluster, as you've seen. And then as soon as you went through the second attempt, it kind of just spooled up and it started the engine. It did exactly the same in the morning, but a little bit worse than this. But that's what I done. Now, this is my theory that I don't. I mean, it's a little bit weird, but I don't think these might be a bad battery drain. I'm more inclined to believe that these might be a starter motor. For that, we're gonna have to do a few checks though, and obviously I'm not gonna jump straight into the starter motor. What I want to do first is obviously check the battery, make sure the battery is good. Obviously, this is now the third time I'm starting the car without really running the engine, so the battery, it might be getting low. But we're going to do a test on the battery and see how the battery is. Try to establish the condition of the battery. Okay, mixed opinion, mixed thoughts at the moment. No opinions, mixed thoughts right now. So I've actually disconnected the battery from the chassis, so we can do an out of the car test. And as soon as I did this, it is low. So this voltage is low. Even though I've only started the car, even though I started the car a couple times, 3 times or so, without really letting it to run, 10 volts is a little bit low for a good battery, I would say. So there's no point for me to do the actually test. Well, I can do it, but it's gonna fail. It's gonna tell me to replace the battery. Then 800, yes it is, 800 amps. So it actually says charge and retest, but I'm not convinced. Okay, let's gonna do the following. Let's gonna charge this battery for a couple of hours or so with my 30 amp charger. This should charge really quick, and then we'll do another test. Okay, and the battery is now charging for about 2 hours, and as you can see in there, it's pulling no amps whatsoever, pretty much. It's pretty much a 0, which usually, if it's pulling no amps, means the battery doesn't need any more juice, so it means the battery is fully charged. So what we're going to do now, we're going to turn it off, and we're going to leave the battery to rest for I'm going to leave it for about 20 minutes to half an hour, because obviously if I test it now, it's going to read probably about 13 volts or whatever, so it's going to fool the tool in thinking the voltage is too high, or that the voltage is the battery is good, if you will. So what we're going to do is leave the battery to rest. So the voltage now is going to rest, the cells are going to even themselves and all that good stuff, and then in about 20 minutes, half an hour, we'll give it another test. Okay, so maybe not half an hour yet, but it's been probably close. However, if the voltage is reading still too high, we're gonna wait a little bit longer. Yeah, it's reading way too high. Even a brand new battery would never give you 13 volts, so we'll have to leave this to drop a little bit more, let it to rest for a little bit longer. Okay, it rested a little bit. We are now at 1293. I'm gonna do a test again. Boom, replace battery. Although I must say, for 165 amps, sorry, should be enough to do this engine, but the state of health is at 49, internal resistance 6.13. Okay, and just to make sure, we're going to do a load test. I don't know if I ever showed you this on the channel, on any video. Probably I haven't, I'm not sure now. We're we're gonna quickly do a load test on the battery, and I will quickly explain you what that means and how this works. Okay, so let me go this way because the cables are a little bit short. So these, actually let me place this slightly different, maybe like so. Okay, so this is a load tester. So at the moment, as you can see, the needle is right there, close to the 13 volts, as you have seen on that other tool. Is reading 13 volts. So what we're going to do with this is we're going to load test the battery. So when I flick this switch, I'm going to load the battery. So inside of here is basically a resistor that loads the battery at about 50, I think it's about 50 amps that this takes out of the battery. And what you're going to see is that obviously the needle is going to drop, and the needle should stay on this green, okay, on this green area here. And also we're going to hold it for about 10 seconds, and within those 10 seconds the needle should obviously drop to wherever it needs to drop, but it should stay there. If it's constantly dropping, the battery is bad. And also when we release the load, the voltage should recover very quickly back up. If it stays there, or if it's really slow coming up, that also means the battery is bad. So let's gonna do it, and I'm gonna try to show you this a little bit like that. So I'm gonna flick the switch, see if I can do this one hand. Ooh, look where the battery goes, and look how the needle, is it dropping still? Yeah, it is still dropping. Not too bad, but it's still, look, it's still dropping, as you can see there. Maybe not, maybe stop there. 10 seconds must have elapsed. And he's recovering. He recovered, but he's still going up now, as you can see. Look, it's going up. Okay, I would say he's on the weak side, because this is for a, I believe this 300 here is for the amps, and we have an 800 amp battery. So these should have stayed right here at the top, and as you've seen, it came down here to around, where was that, in there? Yeah, just below the 400 mark, which is the 474 that gave me as well. So it's pretty much the same. I would say the battery is no good, and to really work on this we would need a proper battery to start with, because otherwise we might be chasing our own tails. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to ring the owner and tell him he needs a proper battery for this, and that's it. That's what I'm going to do. So yeah, let's see what he says. Okay, all agreed with the owner, and no, they are all bad. We're going to get a new battery for this. I'm working night shifts today and tomorrow, so I'm not going to touch the car now. I'll be picking up a battery on Friday morning. The owner was happy to go himself and bring it to me, but it's no point for him to be back and forwards when I'm not going to even use the battery yet. And Friday morning I need to go to the city center anyway, so I'll buy the battery. So we're going to get a new battery for this, and then yes, we can start to try to see exactly what's wrong with this, if there is really a battery drain on this, or if it's just a bad battery. Okay, 3 days later. I'm not going to do a lot today on this. I'm just going to explain you what we're going to do. I just left night, so I had a few hours sleep in the morning. It's already dark, about 6:30 in the afternoon. It's been a quite productive day today. I did the Volvo V50 with the start and stop not working, and I've done that Volkswagen Sharon that unfortunately that did not make into a video. I literally just grabbed the IM608. I went for a drive in the middle of the fields. I just got back home, and I got it repaired there and then. It was all to do with the coding on certain modules, and some base settings are required because they replaced the steering rack, which is the electronic power steering, and the coding from the donor module, if you will. So the rack that they put in there, the coding was wrong, and they tried to do the basic settings for the steering angle, and that would not work. Once I coded the module correctly, did the base settings, steering angle adjustment, everything is fine. Actually, the guy should be here very shortly to pick up the car. Anyway, this video has nothing to do with that. I don't even know why I mentioned it, but what I want to do on this today is because we have that. So I was supposed to get the battery myself. The guy just rang me or he texted me this morning saying he had the battery, if he could drop it. He dropped me the battery, that's what I got. We're not gonna go over if that's a good or a bad battery, doesn't really matter. But what I want to do really is just install that battery, start the car, leave the car here idling for 10 or 20 minutes or whatever, just to make sure the battery is fully charged. And then I want to see in the morning how the car starts, and that's my main thing, because obviously you've seen how the car started when I tried to show you with the battery that's in there now. We established that the battery needs replacing, so that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to put this new battery, and then hopefully tomorrow I will carry on with this video and recording, and we'll see how the car starts in the morning. If the car starts okay in the morning, I will then tell you what we're going to do next. Okay, the new battery is in place, engine is running, it started absolutely perfect, but it's not today that I'm really interested in see how it starts. It's later on. I just want to make sure the car is charging the battery okay. There we have. Alternator is good. So, oops. Damn it. Right, so now we're gonna let the battery to charge a little bit. As obviously the battery that just came out off the shelf, although we started the car absolutely fine. Gonna leave it running here for 20 minutes, half an hour, and then turn it off, lock the car, and I want to see how it starts tomorrow. And no guys, this is not the tomorrow, because the tomorrow after that day was actually a quite busy day. I got grabbed to work on the Seat that is on the other side of that Fiesta, and the afternoon was gone. Yes, I could have attempted to start this, but by the time it was already dark again, and I didn't really want to touch this. But that gave me another reason as well. So that day was Friday, guys. Was Friday night. So today is Wednesday morning. It is absolutely freezing cold. It is really, we had probably the first day of this year, at least around here, where you wake up and the cars are completely frozen. And yeah, it's absolutely freezing cold today. But yeah, so that was Friday. So the car, so I ran the car that day for about half an hour or so, turned it off, locked it, and I haven't touched the car. Okay, so that was Friday night. So Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, and today is Wednesday morning. So pretty much, so today nighttime would be 5 days the car hasn't been touched, and I'm really curious to see what happens. So before I attempt to start the car, what I want to do quickly is obviously unlock the car, open the bonnet, and measure the battery. Okay, I want to do a quick measuring to the battery, just see how many volts we have in there, because I want to see how much it dropped. I'm adamant that if the car starts okay, there's no such thing as a parasitic drain, as the owner was claiming there was. And I'm going to say that it was only the battery, but it's too early yet to say. So let's going to do a couple tests. So first, it doesn't lock. Perfect. So let's going to open the bonnet quickly. Okay, that's fine. Let's going to open the bonnet and let's measure this battery. And yes, I'm gonna use my little tester. First of all, I want to see how many volts we have. 1243, that's very, very good. Okay, I'm gonna say pretty much that the car is gonna start no problem. But we're gonna do a quick test. I'm gonna do it on the car. Okay, so battery test, I'm gonna put in the vehicle. Is a regular battery, and in this case is a 510. It says in there on top of the battery. And yes, I know there is way better battery testers. Oh, I've done it wrong. I'm gonna have to do it again. Let's go back. Battery test in the vehicle, regular. I put 500 and this is a 510. I do know there is way better battery testers out there, okay, but these usually is not really too far out. So good battery, 12.43, 510 rated. He read 493, which is spot on. State of health 81%, state of charge 78, with a 5.79 internal resistance. So that shows me that this car is gonna start absolutely perfect. Okay, and I will show you just that. So we're gonna put this down here. Okay, so it's gonna do it. And with this cold weather is even a better test, to be fair with you. So clutch depressed. Perfect. Wait, it's really cold. Come on, babe. As you can see, I've done it 3 times because the engine was just shutting down. I've done it 3 times, and 3 times it started absolutely fine with the battery that's been here standing for pretty much 5 days. Okay, so at this point I'm pretty much sure that there is nothing wrong with the car in terms of draining the batteries or anything like that. And that the only problem we had was a bad battery. Okay, and some of you might be wondering, Lewis, why are you publishing a video for a battery replacement? Well, we did more than a battery replacement to start with, and second, this is just to show you the primer example that if you don't do things right, you can be led into the wrong conclusions. In this case, the guy was thinking that he had something draining the battery on the car, and as you have seen, guys, I have no reasons to believe that. As you've seen, the guy replaced initially the original battery, put a second battery, which I know exactly where he got this battery from. I even know who gave him this battery. But as you have seen, even this battery was bad. But because he had the battery replaced, he thought, okay, this battery is doing the same, so it must be something wrong on the car, without actually doing any testing or anything. So we tested the battery, we conclude that the battery was bad, got a brand new battery, and as you have seen, 5 days later, with this cold weather, the car started absolutely perfect, no problems at all. So this is a primary example, guys. Don't just assume things are good, especially if you buy second-hand stuff. Always do the testing, always make sure you cover all bases so you don't do wrong diagnostics, because if I wouldn't test this battery and I would rely on what the guy told me, that in a few days, sometimes next day, 2 days, the car wouldn't start. If I would just start here, try to find parasitic drain, which they can already be quite painful to find. Now imagine if I was looking for something that was not even existent on this car. I would be here chasing my own tail for no reason at all. So always do your testing, guys. Don't just assume things, because that can definitely lead you on the wrong direction, and it can cost you money. It can cost you a lot very quickly. So that's it for this video, guys. In the end, yes, it was just a battery replacement. We did a couple of testing. I hope that those tests can help you as well. Who knows, there's something I did that can help you out or give you some ideas, whatever. So this is going to be this video for this car. So the car is going to be back on the road today. The guy, he works with me, as I said, I believe at the start of the video. He should be leaving nights this morning, so he should be asleep now, but I'll drop him a text, so when he wakes up he can come and pick up the car. So that's it for this video today, guys. And as always, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope there's some information here you can find useful. If you do still have any questions or any comments, you know exactly how it works, just put them below. And like always, thank you for watching.